And good evening, everybody. Well,
Paul Molkeski is becoming quite a legend around here, Tommy. Yeah, I got you covered, man. Our intro is a little
welcome,
messed up. I just
welcome to the latest edition of We Got Next. I'm Ricky Hampton with my great friend Paul Molkeski coming to you on Monday. And we know you're out there. We want to hear from you. We want to hear about your brackets. We
and
want
your
to hear some
comments.
tips if you got some tips.
I need
And I damn sure need some tips. So welcome
everybody.
to everybody out there on Sports Fluent, out there Sports Fluent. Check in with us as we get going tonight. Mo, I love doing the show. I love doing the show. But especially right now, man. This is
Yeah,
so much fun.
it's a great time of year. I mean, NBA's wrapping up. There's 10 or 11 games left for the playoffs, and then March Madness is in full swing. I mean, here in Vegas, it's crazy. I did a radio show at Westgate Sportsbook. It was just packed on Friday. It was just jam packed. There was 150,000 people in town just for the NCAAs to get all. Every casino had their sports book and bars were humming, and it was a great time of year. Like you said, it's just basketball nonstop, right?
But Mo, it's going to be, well, hell, it's like Vegas is always hopping. It's going to really become a basketball town in a couple of years when the Las Vegas NBA franchise gets in. It is literally a sure thing now that the NBA is going to move to Las Vegas and go back to Seattle. And for we're new to Sports Fluent, but Paul Mulcahy's been talking about this the past 5 years, and it didn't come, and it's come true. So Vegas is going to be hopping. It's becoming a sports capital, Paul.
Well, we have the Raiders, NFL. We have the Golden Knights, NHL. We're getting the Oakland A's are going to be the Vegas A's, and now we're going to get an NBA team. So you tell me, what other team can we get? We have the Aces, the WNBA champs, back-to-back years a couple years ago. NASCAR's here. F1 comes through once a year. It's crazy. So yeah, I mean, there's the rodeos in town pretty soon. There's like no sport unturned that comes here to Vegas.
And I think the PGA Tour still comes through, don't they?
Yeah, I think they play at the TPC here.
Yeah,
I think they have two tournaments, and then in the off season they always have these gimmicky things, like Tom Brady and Mahomes playing so and so and so and so, and yeah, I mean, but this past weekend and week with the NCAAs going nonstop from Thursday to Sunday, it was even more packed than usual. So it's just a crazy time.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's get to these tournaments. We're down to the Sweet 16 now. Just been some great basketball played in the men's and women's, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit of what I saw in the women's game this weekend. And Mo, I absolutely loved it. And I'll get your thoughts on that. But let's start with the men. And first of all, your just general thoughts on the first weekend of the tournament.
My general thought is don't bet on college basketball because these are young men, but they're really just kids, playing at a high level, on TV. Every game is on TV. Every mistake, every success is on TV, and they're just kids. They're 17, 18-year-old kids, and I don't know. You have kids. I have kids. I have two sons. When they were 17 and 18, I didn't know what they were going to do on every given night. So, but it's amazing that how they come through also, and talent kind of rises to the top, and but there are some funky breaks that go on. The bounce of the ball, or a call or no call, a timeout or no timeout, and your season's over, and you're going home, and another team is moving on, and it's just a great time of year. But there's so much balance in in college basketball now, a lot of it is NIL and transfer portal, because look at all the number ones and number twos that are still in it. And those are the ones with the most money usually. So, I guess the going rate, I told you on this show that if you hired me out of college and gave me $10 million of NIL money, I would have you in the Final Four the next year. I told you that, and that's a fact. Now, you got to spend it wisely. Some teams don't spend it wisely. BYU spent $6 or $7 million on their guy, and he had 35 points in the first game, and they lost, so they're done. So you have to spend it wisely. But the going rate at these high-level colleges is about 10 or 11 million a year, and it's a fact now. You buy players, and what's going to happen now is a lot of the players that on lower level, mid-level colleges that have played well, especially in the tournament, they're going to get in a bidding war with high-level colleges, and they're going to move on and make money somewhere else. And it's unfortunate for the lower-level teams, but pretty much you need to realize if you're low-level or mid-level college basketball, you're a developmental league for the high-level teams, because that's who can pay the money. That's just the facts.
Yeah. And some people are saying that the age of the Cinderella team may be over now because of that.
Yeah, I think because, back when like Cinderella stories lasted, into the Sweet 16, they had 4-year guys that have been there and got better and played as a team. And, it used to be all the time in the NCAA tournament, you pick the veteran team. You pick the team with the juniors and seniors that play a lot because they've been together and they've been at the same team. That's no longer true anymore. They bounce around so much. And, even the high-level teams, that have success, they got to recruit all their players all over again and hope they come back. Baduga, who is the big guy for Kansas, that's led the country, I think, or was second in shot and block shots. Just a phenomenal athlete. He's probably a first-round pick, maybe a lottery pick, but if he comes back, all the Kansas Jayhawk fans are wondering if he'll come back and play for Kansas because he might get more money somewhere else. Kansas, the Jayhawks, one of the blue bloods of college basketball, might not be able to keep players anymore.
And, I just wonder, and I definitely get the financial part, but, man, the college life, the college experience, being one of the big men on campus, I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, but okay, so he's going to be the big man on campus wherever he goes. So you want to be the big man on campus making $1 million at Kansas or $4 million at BYU. You're still the big man on campus.
That's true.
But you know what? I think some other things are going to come into play. Just like you said, Ricky, if you're making like some of these guys $2, $3, $4, $5 million and you're considered a lottery pick. That means a top 15 pick. Well, you're not a lock to be a 3 pick or a 4 pick or a 5 pick. And if I can make $3 or $4 or $5 million and stay in college one more year, like the kid at BYU, who's 6'9", very skilled, but he's not very strong yet, I can go back to BYU. He could make $10 million in NIL money. That's his salary in the NBA if he gets drafted. And you're not playing against Oklahoma City or Boston or Detroit. You're not getting beat up for 82 games. You're just playing your little 30-game season, and collecting your money, and hopefully you make a run at it. So that, to me, like you just said, if it's me and I can do that and maybe get better and develop, maybe I just stay. Even though I'm probably a lottery pick, maybe I just stay another year and roll the dice and become better and enjoy life for another year. I'm telling you, I did both. College life, chilling on campus, is a lot easier than NBA life, flying all over the country, getting beat up by Moses Malone and Artis Gilmore every night.
Yeah, the glamour of the NBA, they see that, they don't see the work. They don't see the pressure.
I mean, if you're playing at a high-level college, that's pretty glamorous. You're flying private now. You're staying in nice places, nice dorms, nice hotels. You're living the life. And if you're getting paid $2, $3, $4 million, you're getting paid too. You're driving a nice vehicle. Are you not living the glamorous life already?
Yeah, pretty much. Deion Sanders' son was driving around campus in a Mercedes Benz Maybach. I mean,
Yeah.
that he bought himself. His daddy didn't have to buy it.
Well, look at the Boozer twins at Duke. They're
Yeah,
on like every commercial.
yeah,
They're on every phone commercial, an Allstate commercial. They're everywhere. So
yeah.
they're not only that they're making tons of money and enjoying life. More power to them, man.
Hey,
I
man.
love it. Hey, I'm gonna tell you guys out there that are in that situation, think before you jump. So, you think grass is greener on the other side. A lot of times it's not. Enjoy your college life. Enjoy your college years. Grow up as a person and a man. And then, if you're at that level, if you're Boozer or Peterson, you're not going anywhere. The only concern there is injury. That's the only really concern.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, let's get to what we saw the weekend. I want to start with the top of my bracket where Florida got knocked off. Some people are calling Nebraska a Cinderella team. Well, they never won a game in NCAA basketball, but they're hardly a Cinderella school. I mean,
No, yeah. They're not the team. They're not the same team they were even last year. You can't anymore in college. You can't judge that. They're totally different players. That's an unrealistic thing to say. You need to judge the team on what they are now, who they are now.
right, and it's not a resource Nebraska basketball can't afford up there. So I don't look at them as a Cinderella as some people have been saying.
No, what seed are they?
They're 9 seed.
Yeah, okay, so that would
out of the Big Ten.
yeah. Yeah, out of the Big Ten, who had 8 teams or whatever. Or 10 or 12. I don't know what they had.
Got 6 teams left.
Yeah, they hurt. That NCAA committee killed the Jayhawks, my Jayhawks, because they gave St. John's a 5 seed. St. John's isn't a 5 seed. St. John's won the Big East regular season. They won the Big East tournament. They beat all those guys and they get a 5th seed. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't get that one. But let's go to the East where Duke. We're gonna have Duke and St. John's coming up Friday, and Louisville and Michigan State. Michigan State and UConn. These are some blue blood programs right there, Mo.
So
coming up Friday.
So who is St. John's playing?
Duke.
Yeah, so you got John Shire, who I coached in the G League. He's done a great job taking over for Coach K at Duke. And then you got some coach named Patino, right? Some new guy that's taken like 6 teams to the tournament and just beat the Jayhawks. And, and then let's talk about old school, please. Let's talk about old school coaches, please. How valuable they still are. Let's see. We got Purdue, Matt Painter, who's been old school. Houston is Sampson. We have St. John's as Patino. We have UConn, Hurley. We got Arkansas, John Calipari. We got Texas, Sean Miller. We got Tennessee, Rick Barnes. All these guys have been around forever. I'm telling you, schools, don't count old coaches out yet.
Absolutely. And where do they make a difference when you have those veteran guys like a Izzo?
Well, they make a difference because they've been there. And when you're in a locker room or a huddle and, everything's going crazy around you, you look at a person that has been there before. just like in the NBA, I think usually former players will make great coaches because they've been there. So you can look at a player's eyes and say, listen, I've been where you are. Okay. We won a championship 2 years ago. This is how we're going to do it. You're fine. You're okay. This is what we're going to do. I've been here before. And it also gets you ready because in college, in the tournament, it's a little unusual. You play 2 games in 3 days in groups. You put first round, second round, 2 days. Then we're going to the Sweet 16, 2 days. Then you're going to final. So the first game you have time to prepare for. The second game, you only have a day and a half because those games run late, and you don't know which team you're going to play yet till it's over. So the coaches that have preparation, been there, they know what it's like. They know, not only do they know, when to get the players up, when to get them running around, when to get them exercise, when to get them rest, when to let them sleep in, when to not put pressure on them, how to take pressure off. Don't worry about it. I've been here before. Relax and play your game. I'll take all the heat that's coming. Don't worry about it. That's where that value comes in, let alone, the in-game situation where, 20 million people are watching you.
Right.
And you got to call a timeout or not call a timeout. You got to put a sub in or not put a sub in. You got to break up the flow, play zone, don't play zone. You're making those decisions in front of 20, 30 million people that are watching, let alone all those people in the stands. So, the first time around, you might second guess yourself, wow, this is kind of overwhelming and stuff is coming from you. You're getting interviewed during the half. You're getting, so I think that comes into play, that the coaches that have been there and been successful there know the mistakes they made in the past, don't make those anymore. And the good decisions they made, make more of those. And that's where the value comes into coaching.
Okay, we're going to go to the on the top side. We're going east to west. We got Arizona and Arkansas Thursday. That'll be a good one. And Texas and Purdue. Talk about well-coached teams. Purdue, man, with Painter coaching them, and they have a really outstanding guard in Brandon Smith, and they are a team that's been there before. So we got those guys there.
Yeah, Purdue has the point guard or the guard that just set the record for most assists in the NCAA tournament history, I think. So
yeah, Brandon Smith.
Yeah, so that's experience right there on the floor,
Yeah, absolutely. And let me see here. Then we go to the here we go. Then we go to the Midwest, University of Michigan and Alabama. Kickoff is at tip-off is at 7:35.
We're a basketball school now.
Yeah. And Tennessee and Iowa State on the other end of that at 7:35 Friday. And then
so Iowa State has a coach was at UNLV for a while. He's kind of a defensive minded guy, but now at Iowa State he's come around and they're a very potent offensive team, but he has experience. And Tennessee is kind of the upset. Nobody really kind of expected them to be there, but they played well at the right time. So, that game's up for grabs. I think Iowa State has the edge there. And you talk about Michigan, Alabama. Michigan's been one of the best teams in the country all year long. They're deep, they're strong, they're big. But Alabama is athletic and fast and can score in bunches. So to me, that's going to be a toss-up. And it's up in the air. I think St. John's, we talked about that in the East. They're going to give Duke all they can handle, but I think Duke has some players that are kind of beat up, so that's going to play into that situation. So it's going to be interesting.
I was watching the Kentucky Iowa State game, and Kentucky spent $22 million on NIL money this year, and they got beat in the second round, 82-63. Now, people in Lexington, if they go to the Final Four and lose, they are pissed off. So they are not happy with Mark Pope there. You mentioned pressure earlier, and that's a good situation.
Yeah, with a lot of NIL money comes a lot of responsibility, right? Well, you look at BYU; they spent all that money; they didn't get past the first round. Now you're talking about Kentucky. What about North Carolina? North Carolina didn't get through either. So Hubert Davis is on the hot seat also because those are schools that are used to being there. And if you're that level school and you spend that kind of money, you better get success and really high level success.
And
you're
North Carolina, you get beat by VCU.
Yeah, somebody like that.
All due respect to VCU, but come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you don't bet on basketball college.
Man, but two things you said earlier. You're working with 18, 19-year-old kids, maybe 20-year-old kids, and they could be very talented, but it's more to this game than talent. It's mental growth, maturity,
toughness,
and sometimes it takes a while for that to get in, to settle in.
So you're an NBA basketball player. You make a lot of money, and you're a human being. You have a family. You have kids. You have family. You have things that go wrong. You got to deal with those. But you're a man. You've dealt with stuff before. You're a kid, and you're an 18-year-old kid, and your girlfriend breaks up with you. Right before a Sweet 16 game. I mean, you don't know how to deal with that. So it's going to be interesting. And that's what makes it really interesting.
Mike is checking in, taking up for his Wildcats. You're pouring salt in the room. We had a lot of injuries. Pope will get one more chance. And that's all he'll get too, Mike. You know that.
Exactly. Yeah, come on, man. I'm rubbing salt. My Jayhawk got beat too, man. And it hurts, I know.
Yeah, Mike, I used to go to Lexington covering SEC basketball. What a beautiful city. Always loved coming in down there in Lexington, Kentucky. And we got Steve checking in. Steve feels bad for you, Paul. Sorry.
That's why I'm wearing my Fred Flintstone hat, because I kind of feel like a goofy cartoon character now.
Hey, and yes, UK fans are nuts. The talk shows were probably on fire after that game, Mike.
Yeah, but that's a lot of these places too. I mean, I think
they weren't too happy at Kansas after this game.
No, as someone said, I can't remember in a press conference here recently, one of the coaches, I think it was the UConn women's coach, I think. He said, listen, there are different kinds of fans. Anybody can be a fan when you're winning, but it's the fans that are pulling for your team no matter what happens. Those are the real fans. Unfortunately, with social media now, everybody gets a talking situation. Oh, way to get on the bandwagon. Everybody's got,
I've been through some hell, man. You hear me?
Everybody has a platform now to say what they want. I'm going to tell you a story. I think it was my senior year. My junior year at Kansas, we did really well. We lost to UCLA in the regionals, but we won the Big Eight, and we had a great season, had a great team. But my senior year, even though we're supposed to be ranked really high, we didn't play very well. We were like 500. And I remember back then there was no social media, right? No Insta, no Facebook. There was no way. There was telephones and fax machines, and this thing called mail. For all your young people out there used to be a thing called mail, where if you wanted to talk to somebody, you wrote a letter to them and you mailed it to them, and they got it about 3 days later and read it. And then if they were friends or whatever with you, then you would write them back. Anyway, so after the season, at my apartment in Lawrence, Kansas, I got a letter. I didn't know where it was from. Somebody, the name was kind of like a made up name. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? and I open it up. And when I open it up, the confetti falls out. It's ripped up season tickets for Kansas games that someone sent me, and ripped up his season tickets and said, I'm never going to a game before because you guys were so terrible.
Wow.
And he said it in different words than that.
Yeah.
So, I know about fans.
Absolutely. I'm trying to warm up. See, if I was down in Nashville over the weekend, 80 degrees. Here in Detroit, it snowed today. So there you go.
It was kind of chilly here today. Sitting by the pool is 90, Ricky. Sorry.
Yeah.
Move out to Vegas, baby.
There you go. Hey Mo, who was there any players that stood out to you this weekend?
Not really. I mean, I'm watching teams. Here's a couple things that stood out to me. Number one, Cinderella story, High Point, right? So High Point beats Wisconsin in a number 5 big school. They beat Wisconsin, in the first round. So they upset Wisconsin. The way they upset Wisconsin is they shoot 40 3-pointers in the game. 40.
82, Mo. They beat them.
Yeah. They shot 40 3-pointers and they made 15 of them. That's 40-something%, I think. So my point is, if you're a lower level team like that, find guys that can make threes and then shoot a ton of them. Shoot more threes than anybody because you can make them more and you can beat teams like Wisconsin. They prove that. And that's really impressive to me. And they lost to Arkansas 94-88, who they shouldn't have been even in the game for, and they shot 38 threes in that game and made 10 of them. So my point is, if you're a lower level team and you don't have the NIL money to go get 2 7-footers from somewhere and a one and done lottery pick, you can find shooters, rather makers, all over the country. Go find 6'2", 6'4", 6'6" 3-point shooters, right, that can make shots. Then get a couple guards that can handle the ball and dish it, and a couple semi-bigs. You can beat almost anybody in the country. That really stuck out to me. And, I was in the whole thing in the G League coaching for the Houston Rockets, and that was the beginning of analytics and 3-point shooting. And they gave us a goal of shooting 50 threes in a game, 50 in a game. And at that point, that was ridiculous. What are you talking about? Because most NBA teams at that point shot 15 to 20. And we're supposed to shoot 50. And we did shoot 50, and we won a championship by doing that because we had makers. But, if you're in that situation, the 3-point line and shot can really even things out quickly. And High Point showed you that.
Mo, did you keep that fan letter?
Hell no. I threw it right out the window, man, and enjoyed my springtime on campus, going to baseball games and then playing some 3-on-3 and then going to a couple establishments and having some cold beers. That's what I did.
What do you think Darren Peterson's going to do, Paul? Jayhawk.
I mean,
what do you think he needs to do?
Play. And he did. So he had a big question mark. He's one of the best offensive players I've seen in a long, long, long time, right? He can shoot threes. He can get to the basket. He's really super athletic. He's not very big, though. They have him listed, I think, 6'5", 6'6". He looks more like 6'4". Offensively, he's phenomenal. He needs to work on his defense and become a better defender. But early in the year and halfway through the year, he was sitting out games and only playing the first half of a game. Later in the season, he started playing 30, 35 minutes, and actually his productivity kind of went down. So he would have 22 points in 20 minutes, and then he'd have 22 points in 35 minutes. So that's kind of a red flag. But he played well in the tournament. He's going to be a lottery pick. He's going to be a top 5 pick. I don't have him. He's dropped, I think. He was 1 for a long time, projected to be the first pick, but I think the BYU kid, a couple of Boozer, have stepped away. He's going to be a top 5 pick if he chooses to leave, which at this point, at his size, he probably needs to do.
Here's a question for Mike. Do you think college officiating is getting worse?
It's interesting because I watched the games, a lot of games this weekend, and I thought the officiating was subpar. And you know how you can tell that when coaches challenge and they lose and they win those challenges. That means that the plays were called incorrectly at the beginning. I can't remember what game it was. There's an out of bounds where a guy clearly hit it down on the floor out of bounds, and the referee called it the other way, and the coach had to use their challenge to get it overruled. So, there was a question mark about some of the referees flying around and doing too many games and getting a little jet lagged. But all the refs want to ref these games because they get paid a lot of money, more than the regular season. When you get to the tournament, then the Sweet 16, then the Elite 8, and let alone the Final Four. But, I think you'll see it get a little bit better as we move on, because I think with 64 teams, all those games going on in the same weekend, I think the referee teams were stretched out a little bit. And I think that might have been some of it. But I kind of thought, Mike, that was kind of down a little bit.
Yeah, hey Mo, I want to talk about what I saw on the women's side. I thought it was a great moment over the weekend. Maryland's coach, Brenda Freeze, got in. She was nose to nose with her star player. Forgive me if I mispronounce her name, Olichi Okinawa, who was just a great player. And Coach Freeze was in her face, eye to eye, just going at her. And after that, the young lady went out there and tore it up and led her team, rallied her team to victory. And I'm watching that. I'm like, man, that's the way guys used to coach.
Yeah, I mean,
after the game, Paul, she said, I love being coached hard.
Yeah, great. Ask Steph Curry. Ask the great players. Most of them love being coached hard, but there's different. I mean, there's a different time frame now. I mean, you can't, especially with the transfer portal and NIL money, but, most great players want to be coached hard and want to be corrected, but you need to I don't agree with how close she was. That was disturbing to me. You don't need to be that close. You can get in someone's face like this. You don't have to be like that. So, but listen to what she was saying. You could read her lips. I believe in you. I believe in you. That's what she was saying, So if you get in someone's face and you tell them, listen, I believe in you. I want you to shoot more. You're why we're here. No, Ricky, you don't shoot more. You're open for a reason. But everybody else, if your coach believes in you that much, then and speaks to you that way, I like that. But it's far and I mean, look at the coaches I just rattled off. All those guys that have been there before. Matt Painter is a laid back coach, right? He's old school, but he's laid back. Sampson is kind of in between. Pitino is in your face all the time, even if you're winning by 30. Did you see that? They were winning by 30 and he was in the player's face. Izzo's the same way as Pitino. Dan Hurley is the same way as all those guys. Calipari is more laid back. John Miller is a combination. Rick Barnes is a combination. But let's see, Sampson, Pitino, Izzo, Hurley, they're all in your face, guys, which is rare now in college. But guess what? They're still playing. Their teams are still playing. That's something.
I tell you, the coaching professor, my high school basketball team in Nashville, we had a great scorer, a great friend of mine, my friend Dexter White, averaged about 30 a game. And my great friend Charles Johnson, who was on the team, he came down and took 3 straight shots. Mo, he hit them all. And our coach, Leroy Wright, called timeout. He chews Charles out. You're shooting the ball more than Dexter White. He said, Coach, I hit him. You're shooting the ball more than
Now, I know. Yeah, maybe, let's pass the ball. But if you keep making them, man, I'm on your side. How many times did my sons, Michael and Brian, it cracks, they get cracked up because they both were on my bench off and on in the G League and helping out, doing video and stuff. And there's so many times where someone takes a shot in a game and you're going, no, and he makes it, and you go, good shot. I mean, making shots, makes up for a lot of stuff. So,
well, what are you looking
here's a better thing he should have said. Hey, you made 3 shots. That's really nice, but give the ball to who's the other guy? Dexter
White.
Give the ball to Dexter White from now on, okay? Let's go, team.
Well, just to hit the ladies over there, number 1 seeds continue to roll. South Carolina's up 33-15, and Texas won 100-58, and UConn 98-45. Mo, you were so right about some of the early games and on the women's brackets. They're just mismatches.
Yeah, I mean, and supposedly, I noticed that right away. Like in conferences, you're playing a team in your conference, whatever UConn or whatever conference that is, and you're beating a conference team by 40 or 50. There's a big discrepancy there. You don't see teams, even the bottom level teams in the Big 12 and the Pac and the East Conference, whatever. You don't see even the bad teams there lose by more than 20, maybe. So there's such a discrepancy in the women's side that, picking a bracket, I didn't pick one, but if I'm picking a bracket, I'm picking every higher seed team until the Final Four, maybe.
Yeah. And they've had some great Final Fours, and hopefully that's what we'll see today. You're watching We Got Next. I'm Ricky Hanson with my great friend Paul Mulkeski, former Milwaukee Bucks center, longtime veteran of the National Basketball Association. Send us your questions and comments. Well, let's talk a little. Well, one more thing regarding the NBA. And hey, because we move on, the NCAAs, you guys send us any questions you may have regardless, and we'll get to them. But are you looking forward to anything that's particular this weekend with the Sweet 16? Is it a particular matchup that you're interested in seeing?
Well, most of the number 1s are in. I think all the number 2s are in. So I think this next round there might be an upset. But if not, you're looking at Michigan playing Iowa State or Purdue playing Arizona or Duke playing UConn. All those games are going to be special. But before those games, this next round is where you get excited when, a team jumps on a favorite team. And, watching in Vegas, man, you hear a lot of different cheering because, it might be a 10-point game, but the point spread is 7.5. You see people are losing or making money really fast. And, you listen and you see the group they're in, who's making and losing money. But, I still think there's key for even an upset here in the next round. But then in the Elite Eight, I don't think any team is really an upset. I think all those teams can beat the other teams. Unlike in the women's side, I don't think that's true. So, I'm looking for really good high-level basketball, coaches standing out. You look at, a mistake or flub from the game where the coach was trying to call a timeout and the referee was running away from him, and instead of turning to the other ref, that was the trailer ref, and getting the timeout, they didn't give it to him. And instead of fouling when you're up by 3, hello, people, if it's 5 seconds or less and you're up by 3 and the guy is dribbling, foul him. It's a 90% chance you win the game if you foul him. And, I don't understand
those situations, Paul.
Absolutely. Well, you should. We did. I mean, his team should have been prepared that we're up by 3. You look at the clock, there's 5 seconds left. He inbounded the ball and dribbled twice before he hit that shot. If you would have fouled him on after the first dribble, in between the first and second dribble, there would have been 2 seconds left. Game's over. Unless you can make the first free throw, miss the second free throw, get the rebound in the second free throw, and put that shot in. That's 4 things that have to go right for you to tie up the game.
If they do that, you deserve to lose. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, and I looked it up because that's my philosophy. It has been since I got the analytics from the Houston Rockets. And they were reaffirmed when I worked for the Dallas Mavericks, and Mark Cuban broke that down. Under 5 seconds, if you're up 3, you need to foul when the ball is going downward. That means they're dribbling, not when it's coming up. If they have it, you don't foul because it could be a shot. If the ball's going down, you foul them, and you have a 90% chance of winning. I'm in Vegas. There's not anybody here in Vegas that wouldn't take a 90% a chance of winning a blackjack hand or a roulette or anything.
Yeah. One more question. Bill Self retires at KU. Who do they replace him with?
Coach Self has had some physical problems. He's been in the hospital a few times, and if he does decide to retire, the guy is right there, Jacques Vaughn. Jacques Vaughn replaces Bill Self. That's why they brought him there. Jacques Vaughn is a former player. He's an NBA coach, an NBA head coach, and he deserves that job and would be a great replacement. You need to do, Jayhawks, you need to do what Duke did to replace Coach K. They brought in John Shire, who was a great guard there, played professionally overseas, and then was an assistant coach for a few years, and then they gave him the job. So in my opinion, Jacques Vaughn gets that job. That's why he's there. At least I hope so.
Mo, Steve got a great question. Thoughts on the WNBA finally came to a contract. Season's going to start on time. The salary cap goes up from $7 million to 1.5. Average revenue share of 20%. A Supermax deal is now $1.4 million, and the average salary is now $600K with a minimum of $300K.
Yeah, so for players, awesome. The players were making $60,000. Now your minimum's $300,000. Hello, you know what? That's for 4 months. Yeah. That's a 4-month season. So that's about $1 million in a regular season. So, and the max is 1.5 or 1.4. That's for a 4-month season. So all that is good. And the salary cap per team goes up from 1.5 million per team to 7 million per team. Now, after losing so much money every year, 20 million, 25 million, I don't know how the owners absorb those losses when you increase. So your minimum, the average salary was $100,000, whatever it was. Now it's going to be what'd you say, 500 or 4 or whatever?
600.
600. So that's your average salary now, times how many players are on the team. How are you going to absorb that money without losing money? I know the TV contract is better, but it's a great deal for the players. The owners, I don't know how you absorb that loss, and thank goodness they're going to have a team, and they're going to find out if they can absorb that loss. And the key with the 23%, because in the NBA it's 50-50 or 51-50 revenue split, but NBA makes billions of dollars every year, so
the bargain has been ugly for the players, so who knows how many people will watch the NBA. I wonder, too, if they turn some people off with that.
Well, I think, coming out with shirts that pay us what you owe us, that can't help. Like I said, when they said that's a marketing nightmare. If you come out with shirts that say, pay us what we deserve. Okay, I can fly with that, but pay us what you owe us? We don't owe you anything.
We've been carrying you, actually. Yeah,
the league has been carrying you and, losing money every year. So it's going to be interesting. The product is a lot better. The conditions are a lot better. So hopefully the TV money is going to be, move up, obviously, because so the NBA gets by, right? They just signed an 11-year, $77 billion deal on TV. So
That is nuts. And what a good to hear from you, brother. We
what's up,
hadn't
man?
we hadn't seen you in a while. And he also faced John Vaughn was a decent player when he played. He was a really good player for sure.
Yeah, he's a perfect replacement, man. Good guy, knows basketball. Been in the head coach in the NBA. Come on, man.
Hey, let's get to the NBA because we're running out of time here. The Lakers are on fire, even though my beloved Pistons are up 6 points in the second half tonight of tonight's game here in Detroit. Mo, what's been good for LA lately?
Well, I think they're finally figuring out how to play together. I think LeBron has taken a back seat to Luka and Reeves. I think before last night or whatever, Luka scored 100 points in 2 games. So he's coming into his own. I think he's healthy now. And the other big thing that happened is their center, Ayton, has kind of figured it out. And after some reporters jumped on him for his production and he wanted more shots and they kind of got on him, I think he realized, or someone got to him, that, hey, all I got to do is rebound, block shots, rim run, help us win, and I'm going to make as much money as I can spend in 8 lifetimes. And I think he's finally figured out. But also Marcus Smart, who they got, and nobody, they picked up, and nobody really said anything about it. Marcus Smart is not the player he used to be when he was with the Celtics and starting and, playing for them. But he is a viable player on the court. But more than that, he changes the attitude of that team. He's defensive. He takes charges. He's tough mentally and tough physically and gets in your face. And he's changed the mentality. Hell, I saw Lucas take a charge the other night. He didn't get the call, but he took a charge. And I saw LeBron James dive on the floor. So, and also, the Lakers are peaking at the right time. And when you look at, a lot of this depends on schedule, right? You can have a 10 wins in a row on a schedule that's weak and you're playing the Washington and New Jersey. But in that stretch, I think they won 8 or 9 in a row, whatever. They've beaten New York, Minnesota, Denver, Houston, OKC. They're beating real teams. So that proves that what they're doing right now is effective. And now they're deeper and a more balanced team. And, because you look at Marcus Smart, Reeves, Luka, LeBron, Ayton, LaRavia, who's a good young player, Hachimura, Kennard, who we liked him. He just hit a game-winning 3 for them on the other night. And then Jason Hayes, who's a really athletic big and can catch lobs. So they have the makings and the depth of a team that can make a run in the West.
I heard, I read somebody said LeBron James is the most overqualified role player in basketball. But Mo, I'm looking at his stats. He went over the weekend. He made 19 of 22 shots. He plays the dunker spot a lot now.
He had 7 dunks the last game, and he's 41 years old. He looks like he's 28. I mean, he's playing phenomenal. So, okay, you're going to dog him. You're going to get on him for being a role. So what? Who cares? Guess what? You need role players to win championships. Hello?
He's averaging 21 points a game. I'm looking at the stats now. Shooting 51% from the field, averaging 6 rebounds, and 7 assists a game.
Yeah. It's a pretty good role player.
I wish he wasn't so good tonight, but I just got to give it to him. I appreciate that.
Well,
I appreciate greatness. Never cheered against Bird. I'm a Pistons fan. Never cheered for LeBron. But I appreciate greatness, Mo.
Yeah, and he's been great for a long time. He's 41 years old, man. And if you look at the West now, the Lakers have positioned themselves in the 3 spot now, with San Antonio in the 2 spot, which is pretty solid. San Antonio's 3 games behind OKC, who's in the 1 spot. and Lakers are 10 games out, so that's a 7-game difference. So they're kind of looking in the third spot. So guess what that means? That means you don't have to play Oklahoma City till the finals of the West. It's huge. And Houston is battling in the 4th spot, but they're 2.5 games behind the Lakers with only 11 or 12 games left. That's hard to make up. So that's huge for the Lakers. And now you look at Houston, Denver, and Minnesota are all tied for the 4th spot. They're all tied for the 4th spot. And what does the 4th spot do? It gets you home court in the first round. So they're all battling that. And then look at, you have 4 teams, Phoenix, Clippers, Portland, and even Golden State way back there. They're all battling for the play-in spot in the West. So you still got a lot of important games going on with only 10 or 12 games left in the season.
Mo, but you know what? I don't think you can win a championship with Luka Doncic shooting. I know he scores a lot of points. I just think in the playoffs, good teams are going to take some of that away from here.
Well, that's why you have Reeves. That's why you have LeBron. You know, that's why you have these other guys. I mean, you know, you're going to pick your poison in the NBA anyway. So in a 7-game series, but Luka is Luka, right? I mean, as long as he plays little defense, who cares? I mean,
Well, the defense has improved tremendously.
Yeah, I mean, he's one in the last. I saw someone's stat. Someone said in the last month he leads the league in steals. How about that?
So Mo, everybody can play defense, right?
I mean, everyone, if they want to and try hard enough, can play acceptable defense. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So when I was in Dallas, we scored. We had Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, Mike Finley. We scored out the wazoo. We could outscore everybody, but Dirk didn't play any defense. And finally, when we got him, like I told him, I said, we don't need you to be a great defender. We need you to be an average NBA defender. Average.
We don't need you to be Bill Russell, man.
No, we just need you to be average. And can you be an average NBA defender? Can you? Yeah, I can. Well, if you do that, we're going to win a lot of games, and we went to the finals that year.
Yeah.
So that's what Luka's in right now.
Steve, I'm with you, Steve. I do not want to see San Antonio.
No, they're deep.
Although they're a young team.
Yeah, they're young and inexperienced, but they're deep and talented. And with Wemby, you got somebody that nobody else has. Wemby is like the Joker for Denver. Nobody has another Joker. You know, nobody has another Wemby either. They're just unique, you know.
Yeah.
By the way, nobody has another Luka either.
Yeah, I mean the guy, he's something else. I just the moment, and I said about Steph Curry, he will pull up from 35 feet, man.
Yeah, he'll hit a 1-foot leaner from 35 feet
with somebody in his face.
There's guys that can make hard shots. He's one of them. Those are guys that are like that. Now, if you can get them to take less hard shots, which are usually bad, and just, you accept that they're going to take some of those shots and they're going to make a lot of them, but just don't get crazy on me. Because let's say, I bet if Luka wanted to, he could shoot 60 shots in a game if he wanted to. Easy. Right?
Wow.
He could, right? He has the ball in his hands. He's 6'9".
Yeah.
He can shoot from anywhere. He could shoot 60 shots easy if he wanted to. Come down, body somebody, do a step back three anytime you want. But he doesn't. I wonder how many shots he's averaging. Probably 25 to 30.
I'll be able to look that up. Thank you, Mike. And we are heading down the home stretch mode. Man, we appreciate everybody checking in tonight. It was a couple of things I want to run through you, Paul. I'm reading here that Giannis will. I don't know if this is news or not. The Bucks owner said Giannis will either be extended or traded.
Yeah. Yeah, he's either going to
They
sign
will
his.
not let him walk out the door. The Bucks owner, Wes Eden, says we're not letting him walk out the door. He can't afford to.
Would you?
Heck no.
So, if you don't want to play for us, and you're that good a player, I'm going to trade and get a a, a, a lot of stuff back for you. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a business. Or you're going to sign the extension, which actually might be more valuable in the trade anyway. But yeah, people that teams that let players walk that are free agents at that level, that's just stupid.
Is it one teams that perennially struggle? The Wizards.
Brooklyn,
Yeah. What
Portland.
is it one line that you see that poor organization? Is it one line you see in poor organization? I know they're not getting the right players. I know that.
Well, who's responsible for that?
The president of the team.
The general manager and player personnel guy and the owner. They're responsible. Yeah. So that's front office. I told you people would be surprised that more than half the NBA teams don't know what they're doing. if
These are billion-dollar franchises, Mo.
If you're Washington and your minimum salary is $150 million a year and you spend it and you can't win 30 games, are you doing what you're supposed to do? I don't think so. Over and over and over again. No, you're not. It's not brain surgery, right? You gotta hire the right people in the front office, general manager, player personnel, and you have to have an owner that'll let you work. And then you have to hire a head coach that can control the players and help them be the best players together along with his staff, his assistant coaches, his video people. They all have to be on the same page. And then you have to have the money. All those things have to come in line. And if one, let alone two, are not together, you're going to be the Washington, or you're going to be Brooklyn, or you're going to be, that's just the facts. And it's going to cost you, even if you spend minimum salary and you have travel and all that stuff, it's going to cost you, $300-400 million a year to be the worst team in the league.
Wow. Well, man, we only got a couple of minutes here. Any final thoughts from you, Mo?
Yeah, just shortly touch on the East. That Detroit has the first place locked up. I think Boston's made a run, but they're 4.5 behind. And New York is coming into their own. So they're a half game behind Boston for the second spot. That's huge, right? Because then you go into another bracket. And Cleveland's probably locked in on the fourth spot. They're 2.5 or 3 behind New York. But then you have Toronto, Atlanta, Philly, and Orlando all fighting for either one of those teams is going to get the 5th spot, and one of those teams is going to be out of the play-in. That's how close that is. And there's only one game separating all those teams. That's mind-boggling to me. So now you're going to see who's tanking or not.
Yeah, I do think that. Unfortunately, my Pistons don't scare anybody. Cade Cunningham is out probably for the rest of the season. That's funny, Mo. I was watching that game when he got hurt. It didn't even look like a big hit. But
yeah, I've broken my ribs before, and it didn't seem that bad till I tried to get up in the morning. So that's something you don't really notice it that much when it happens. And he got injured his lung, and I tried to play, with a couple fractured ribs, and I couldn't breathe, and it's just over. And you can't splint them. You can't put a boot on them. You can't use crutches.
Yeah.
You just gotta heal on its own. And unfortunately, I hope he's not out for the season, because if he's out for the rest of the season, then Boston and even New York have a run at the championship.
Oh, for sure.
Or the East, rather. Yeah.
Hey, Mo, before we go, your thoughts on George Karl, his legacy as a coach?
Great coach, thought outside the box, demanding coach. Players respected him. just one of the Hall of Fame coaches, and he has a long career. He was outside the box thinker, kind of like Don Nelson was, Nelly was. They would do kind of funky things. I remember in Milwaukee, when I was coaching Milwaukee, he started like 3 wings or guards or something. No one did it back then. So he's outside the box Hall of Fame coach.
Well, LeBron can pass his behind off. I'll tell you, I just saw a great pass.
Sorry,
well,
man.
I'm going to go cheer my Pistons on. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next Monday, 8 o'clock, Mo.
Same time, same place, same time, same place.
Rick Hampton and Paul Mokeski. Good night, everybody.
Later.
Take care.